right, welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed your reading earlier, and we're going to be moving on swiftly onto our maths. So we're going to actually be doing a bit of revision from year 4. So this is actually work that you would have done in year 4. And we're going to be moving on to measurement now. And today our learning objective is to convert centimeters to millimeters and vice versa. All right, so try and see if you can get a piece of paper and pen ready so that you can do your starter. There are 6 questions there that I've prepared for you today. So when you're ready, pause the video and have a go at these 6 questions. Good luck. Right, let's have a look. Right, the first one is most of these were mental calculations, so you didn't require having to do much working out, but hopefully these are the answers you got. So number 1 would be 8. Because 8 times 70 would be 560. So you can use that inverse there to help you to check your answer. The next one is going to be the 9 million. All right, making sure that you have the correct number of zeros and 20. Number 3 would be 1.4. Making sure that you have that decimal, okay? Many of you have made that careless error where you have not remembered to bring down that decimal in your answer. So don't make that silly mistake because you do all that hard working out and then you don't bring the decimal down. So don't forget to have included that decimal in your answer. The next one is going to be 240. Finding 30% of a number, remember you find 10% first and then you multiply it by 3. So your answer is going to be 420. And the last one, when we're looking at of, we take the whole number, which is 4,000. We divide it by the denominator, which is 4, which is equals to 1,000. And then we multiply it by the top number, the numerator, which is 3. So it would be 3,000 as your answer. Hopefully you managed to get those correct. And so we're going to move on. So like I said, this is revision from last year. So in year 4, you would have done a bit of measurement. I think right at the beginning of the year almost. So hopefully you can remember those skills. Something that you just have to remember with measurement and when you're doing length is these conversions. So 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. And how I always remember it is I think about a ruler, which is about 30 centimeters. And I have, if you put out your arms, like just in front of you, you can't really see it on my screen, but if I put them in front, that is roughly a meter. So if I know that my ruler is 30 centimeters, then I can put 3 rulers and a little bit, which is the 10 centimeters that are left over, into my hand, which makes it then 100 centimeters. Okay, so 1 meter is then equal to 100 centimeters. So that's just how I remember it. So I think about that practically using my ruler and my understanding that a meter is kind of like my arm's length span. So we can use this now to convert between meters and centimeters and meters, and we can do it in a variety of different ways. So the first way we're going to look at is using a bar model, which you guys are all quite familiar with, all right? So I've taken my 4 meters and I've divided them up into 4. Okay, so I've got 4 1 meters. And if I know that each meter is equal to 100 centimeters, so if I put 100 into these blocks, 100, 100, 100, okay, because each 1 meter is standing for 100 centimeters, right? I can then know that if I count all those hundreds, 4 meters is going to equal to 400 centimeters. And I can use that bar model there to help me. Oh, took the 100 away. There we go. Right. So I've just taken that 4 meters. I've broken it up into its into 1 meters. I know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters, and therefore I add up those. So have a little go now at doing these on your own. Can you then tell me how many meters, how many centimeters, sorry, are in 5 meters? And then if I'm going from centimeters to meters, how many meters would that be? So pause the video now and have a quick go. Right, I'm sure you found that incredibly easy. You know that there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter, and if I have 5 meters, I'm going to have 500 centimeters. And then if I'm going the other way around, I have 400 centimeters, and I'm going to then change it into how many meters, and you could have used the block above here to help you. Okay, so I know I have 400 centimeters, so I have 100 400s. And I know that each of those is 1 meter, and therefore it would be 4 meters. Nice and simple and easy. Right, now it gets a little bit more trickier because now I've got not counting in hundreds. I'm not counting in hundreds here. So now I've got a little bit extra. So if I use my part-whole model, I can also break up my number. So if I have a look here, how many hundreds do I have? I have 5 hundreds. So I'm going to put my 500 into here if I break it up. So I'm counting in hundreds now. All right. And what am I left over? I'm left over with 10. And I know that 500 plus 10 is going to give me 510. And so then how many meters would that now equal 500? Right. And I know there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So therefore, I'm going to have 5 meters. So I can use that part-whole model to help me to break up the number, especially when it's not counting in multiples of hundreds. Right, so you can now have a go at answering these. Use the part-whole model like I've done here, write the total and then split it up into meters and what is left, which is your centimeters, and have a go at seeing if you can answer this. You don't have to use the part-whole model. It is there as an example to help you to break up those numbers. So have a go at answering those. So pause the video. Good luck. Right, let's see how well you did. Right, so I've got 540 centimeters. So I have 5 meters. And what am I left with? I'm left with 40 centimeters. Sorry. Okay. Right, here I've got how many meters? I've got 3 meters and I have 23 centimeters. You can't just throw that away. For number 3, let's just move this over so we have a bit more space. Right, I am going now from meters with centimeters to centimeters only. So how many centimeters are in 2 meters? I know that there are 200 plus the 45, so I'm at 245 centimeters in total. And half a meter, if I know that a meter is 100 centimeters, then it's half of 100, and half of 100 is going to be 50 centimeters. Okay, so hopefully that is making some sense. As I say, this is just revision from last year. So this is year 4 work that we're doing, and I'm just giving you a little bit of a recap before we move on later in the week to the year 5 measurement. So hopefully this is ringing some bells from last year, and you are whizzing through this. Use the bar models, use the part-whole models, and use that conversion that you know that 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. Right, we can take that information now and we can help it to create another way of having to work out the answers. So I have created this little diagram, and this has always been really, really helpful for me when I'm having to work out measurement and conversions. So you might want to draw this on a piece of paper so that you have it ready for you when you're having to do your work a little bit later. So I've said 1 meter, as we know, is equal to 100 centimeters. That's something we just have to learn. And so we are now going to have a look at what these arrows represent. So if I'm going from 1 meter to 100 centimeters, I'm going from 1 to 100. What have I done from the 1 to 100? I've multiplied it. I've multiplied that 1 by 100. Okay. So can you see there? I've used my arrows to show the direction that I'm moving in. I can then do the same going backwards. So I'm going to say, what have I done to the 100 to get 1? And I have divided it by 100. Now I can use this strategy now to work out my answers. So instead of using our bar models or our part-whole models, we can use this strategy. So this is just another way of having to work it out. Right, so for example here, I have 4 meters. I know that if I'm going to be converting it into centimeters, I'm going from meters, if I just get my arrows here, I'm going from meters to centimeters. Hopefully you can all see that. So if I go back to this strategy here at the top, I'm going from meters to centimeters. And this is where it gets a little bit tricky, is you have to make sure that you're going in the direction of how you're converting. So if I'm going from meters to centimeters, I must be going in that direction when I'm looking at it. So when I go up here, I need to be following this arrow because I'm going from meters to centimeters. And what am I doing? I'm multiplying it by 100. Right, so I'm going to take this number 4, I'm going to times it by 100, and there I've converted it into its centimeters. So you might find that this way is probably going to be the easier way for you to remember how to convert, because we know how to times and divide by hundreds. Right, number 2, it says I've got 35 centimeters now. I want to know how many meters do I have in total. So I'm going to look at my diagram here and I'm saying I'm going from centimeters. Remember, this is always the very important, going to meters. So I'm going from centimeters to meters. So I go to my little diagram here and I go going from centimeters to meters. So this is the arrow. And what is the arrow telling me to do? I am dividing by 100. So I take that 35, divide it by 100, and I get 0.35 meters. Okay, I don't have any whole meters. That's why the 0 is there in its place, but I have 35 meters. Okay, so hopefully that is making a little bit more sense. If you need to rewind the video just to have a listen to that again, please do so. Otherwise, have a little go at answering these 3 questions now on your own. So pause the video, use this diagram to help you. The most important step is step number 1 is making sure that which arrow are you going to be following. So what are you going to go from? Are you going from meters to centimeters, or are you working out centimeters to meters? Okay, and I've put this little extra step here in the middle. If I just go back to show you to break up your working out. Okay, so are you timesing or dividing by 100 so that you can then work out the answer? So pause the video now and have a go on your own. Right, let's have a look. So step number 1 is very important, and I need to make sure, as I said earlier, what am I doing? So I'm going from meters to centimeters. Okay, so once I've got that as step number 1, that is the most important step, because now I can go to this at the top here, and I can go, I'm going from meters to centimeters. What is it telling me to do? I need to times by 100. So I'm going to say 7 times 100, and there I can work quite easily out that I need 700 centimeters is equal to 7 meters. Remember, they are equal, they are not different amounts, they're exactly the same. We are just converting between one type of measurement and another. Right, the next one is I'm going from centimeters now to meters. Okay, so I'm just going to draw my arrow so I know exactly what I'm doing. Even though the arrow is pointing this way, that is just for me to understand which direction I need to go and look at. Okay, even though this is going from left to right, this is going from centimeters to meters. So I need to go and look here. What am I doing? Centimeters to meters. So I'm going to be dividing by 100. So I'm going to take this number, 876, and I'm going to divide it. Unfortunately, there's no division symbol on my keypad. Divide it by 100. Okay, and we know how to divide a number by 100. All right, we're going to shift that number to the right twice, and I'm going to be left with 8.76, and I mustn't forget to write in my measurement symbol. Okay, what am I working in? So there I've got 8 whole meters, but I've still got 76 centimeters, and I can't just throw that away. So I put the decimal there and I write the numbers afterwards, the digits afterwards, so that I can make sure that I haven't just thrown those extra centimeters away. Right, and the last one is I'm going from centimeters to meters. So again, I'm going to just draw my arrow so I know where I need to go and look. So in my head now, it's telling me to go from centimeters to meters. So I go back here and it says centimeters to meters. So I go, look, centimeters to meters. What is my arrow telling me to do? Divide by 100 again. So I'm going to take my number, which is 5, and I'm going to divide it. Oh, get purple now. By 100. Right, and we know how to do this. We're shifting the number twice to the right. Okay, and we're moving it up, and I have 0.05 meters. Okay, so hopefully that is making some sense. As I say, this is a lot of it's revision from last year, so hopefully this is helping you. This method has always worked best for me. You are welcome to use any method, but this one has always worked best for me when I'm having to convert. All right. So let's have a look at matching up the grid very quickly. So pause the video now, see if you can match up the different centimeters to meters. Right, so we have 100 centimeters. Without even looking on the other side, I know that if I'm converting it into meters, 100 centimeters is going to be 1 meter. I have 5 meters now. I'm going to be timesing it by 100 because I know that there are 100 centimeters in a meter. So 500. I have 300 centimeters, so I have 3 meters. 2 meters, they've done it for me, is 200 centimeters. And 900 centimeters is going to be 9 meters. That was nice and easy, just to get your brains thinking. Right, so you're going to log on to Teams now. I have tried, because I do know that there's a variety of children who might struggle with this. So the first 5 questions I'm going to make is pure fluency, okay? Just converting between meters and centimeters. So hopefully you can all do the first 5. Then the next 3 questions are going to be a little bit more thinking, all right? Or let's say the next 6, 7, 8, 9, next 4 questions will make it a bit more thinking like. So that's more like applying it. And then the last question will be a bit more of a reasoning skill, okay? So go onto Teams, see your maths. It's going to be a quiz today. I haven't included the answers because I know that in the previous lockdown, some children got very discouraged because if you don't write the exact number as me, then you didn't see the result. And a lot of you would email to say that you've written the same thing and why hasn't it picked it up? Now, yes, it is correct generally. But sometimes if you've put a space or if you've written something, let's say you write out the word centimeters or meters, it has to be exactly the same as my answer. And so just to make sure, we are going to rather just mark everybody's. Okay, so Miss Pitt or Miss James or Miss Brettel, they have been very kind enough to offer to mark your work this week. So they will then mark it and send it back to you. All right, so I haven't included the answers just because I don't want you to be discouraged by this. I want you to try it, have a go, and then we will mark it for you so that there's no miscommunication or misunderstanding about the fact that you've probably got it right, but just that you haven't written it exactly like me. So have a go at that. I hope you enjoy your maths today, and do go back and rewatch the video if you do need, and hopefully it will make some sense. So good luck, guys, and all the best for your learning for the rest of the day. And I will see you a little bit later or tomorrow. All right, bye, guys.